important not to listen to other people when your heart is telling you to do something. And I'm going to share a little bit about my own personal experience, because I know that a lot of you guys can relate. I was always sort of a lone wolf. And I was always, growing up, I was always just different than other people. The way that I saw things, the things that I loved. And at a very young age, I was sort of, I don't know, for lack of a better word, sort of persecuted for my unique light. It caused the people around me to, treat me in ways that were not fair. And it was because they were either jealous or because they were intimidated. And I was too young to really understand what was going on. I was very empathic and had a lot of sympathy for everybody around me. I wanted the best for everybody, and so I always just was like, oh, they're just hurting. And I would put my, self second to be able to, try to protect them. But I didn't really realize that at the same time, there was a lot of I was being set up in a lot of ways, and I didn't really realize that. I was being set up to fail on purpose. Tricks were being done to make me look like make me feel like I was failing, when really it was because I was actually more qualified. And this caused a false sense of almost like imposter syndrome, feeling like I never fit in. Well, really, it was the opposite, or it was people were afraid of my light and were orchestrating situations where I was being made to fail when I wasn't really failing. Again, I was too young to really realize what was taking place, so I saw myself as not adding up, and that wasn't the truth. It was never the truth. This is how sly, the dark forces can weasel their way into our lives when we're young. But long story short, I don't know. I had unique ideas, you know what I mean? I never really fit in with the crowd, and now I'm realizing, as we grow older, we realize we never were meant to. There are unique ideas, that our own way of thinking is actually that way for a purpose. And that's where it comes back full circle to what I was saying in the beginning, not listening to other people and not gaslighting ourselves into not listening to our hearts. A good example is, I very clearly saw a vision of the word Thailand written out. In my mind's eye, I saw a vision of the word Thailand written out. I knew that's where I was supposed to go. But my, always wondering, what are other people going to think? Being so used to being judged unfairly. Being so used to being judged no matter what I did. And having to feel like I have to explain myself to other people, because they're not going to understand. Always feeling like I was just being misunderstood. You know what I mean? That kind of shit can make us gaslight ourselves out of following our heart when we know that that's what we should be doing. It's time for us to listen to our hearts. It's time for us to listen to our intuition when it's telling us to do something. There's reasons for God guiding us to do things that we might not even get at the time. And it's not going to go with everybody's logical belief of what they feel like that you should be doing. I come from a line of adventure seekers. You know, the Italian side of my family adventured to America. They were out of the box thinkers. You know what I mean? My grandfather on my mom's side was a self-made millionaire. You know, he again was like a free thinker, out of the box type of thinker. My great grandfather on my dad's side was an inventor. I come from a unique line of people that I need to embrace that part of myself. You know, there are things that I want to, so many things I want to bring to this world. You know, like, I want to be an inventor. There's things that I want to invent and that I've already started inventing. There's things that I'm creating now that I'm finally following my heart about, that I've been shown will be successful. You know, like, there's so much more for us out there. You know, the lone wolves of the world. Like, we are unique for a purpose, and us being authentic and shining our light is so vital for helping New Earth through this shift. So vital. That optimist in you. That's not just optimism. That's a remembrance. That's a soul remembrance. Because you came from a place where there was no lack. You lived on many planets where lack was an illusion. You have a different kind of belief system. You know, like, you will jump on a plane when God tells you to do something like that and fly across the world because you're a free spirit. You know what I mean? You know there's more, and you're right. Keep trusting yourself. Keep trusting yourself, because there's a lot more waiting to be unraveled when we do that. And this is an example. Where I'm at right now is an example of that. And we can't gaslight ourselves out of that shit anymore, man. It's time to rise. It's time to spread our wings and frickin' fly. Because we are that bridge to New Earth. We are that bridge to New Earth. And the more we jump into that truth, that we are not disconnected from Source, the more we see that show up in our reality.